Well, Coach, you were just talking about the special teams coordinator. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm excited about the opportunity our special teams. It's like this at most places, a lot of places in the country. Our special teams is a group effort. I mean, it's no different than offense and defense in a lot of ways. Joe Craddock doesn't do everything in our offense. John Chavis doesn't do everything in our defense. It takes a group of coaches to coach the scheme and to responsibilities, and so really that's kind of how I see this, and Coach Moore sees it the same way, of kind of having a point man that kind of oversees a lot of those areas, and not necessarily just having total control or autonomy of it, but just being a point man, just to help practice schedules, to coordinate what we're going to do during that period of the day, to coordinate who's running that unit, to coordinate, the personnel that we're going to use, and obviously to make some game day decisions and judgments about scheme and those types of things. But I'm very excited about the opportunity, and very excited about Daniel DePrado being with us, and just the knowledge that he brings, and his experience that he's had in his background with special teams. And so I think him and I are going to work very well together, and so I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
So is it going to change anything for you logistically, like at practice this spring or anything?
No, I don't foresee it having a huge impact on that. I mean, the way we structure practice is we usually set aside 3 different periods during the day at least to do special teams, and so that's nothing different than it's been since I've been here at Arkansas, and so it will not affect my responsibilities with tight ends at all. It does add a somewhat of a more workload as far as just time spent and prep to practice, but those are things I'm very confident in, be able to manage and still do my job and fulfill my responsibilities as coach of tight ends.
Now, I know in the past you kind of mentioned it, that everyone had like a hand in like one particular special temes section. I mean, is it still going to be kind of like that, and you just have a small hand on everything?
Right. That's right. Yeah, I've got a lot of experience over the last several years of running special teams unit independently, and then coaching on the other ones. Most all of them at any given time, I've spent some time on each of those units, and so it's important for us to convey how important special teams is across our organization by having a lot of coaches involved. And so if you have the same coach that's the voice of all those units over and over again, at some point that gets repetitive for them and for the coach. And so we try to keep that broken up. We'll continue to do that as far as being the lead, the lead voice of who runs that meeting. But obviously I'm going to be involved in all those units behind the scenes on schemes and personnels and what we're doing any particular day as far as practice prep, those types of things.
What was your primary unit before again?
Well, my most experience has been on punt.
Okay.
And so I've spent the last 5 years basically running the punt unit for us.
Gotcha.
And then last year I actually ran kickoff return. I was the point on that as well last year. So as you can see, just from those things alone, I've spent a lot of time doing this over the last few years, and we'll continue to use a similar type model moving forward.
Coach, when you look at Hudson Henry just on and off the field, what stands out? Obviously, such a special kid, special player for Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, character and talent and work ethic, drive, and he's got a lot of great qualities. And but he also is going to there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be it's a pretty big jump from going from high school, despite coming from one of the better programs in the state, from a very well-coached program. There's going to be learning curves and jumps. I'm excited to get to work with him, and the biggest thing for us and for me and for him is just we want him to be Hudson, and he's got a lot of great attributes, and I think he's an excellent football player, and he certainly will be given a lot of opportunities early to come in and see if he can help contribute.
How similar and different is he maybe to where Hunter was coming out of high school?
They're very different, I think, in a lot of ways, but yet they're the common thread, obviously is their DNA and just who their family is and what Arkansas means to them. And listen, let me tell you, those are great qualities, and it comes from a fantastic family. You know what you're getting. That's one thing about I learned that through coaching Hunter and being around Hayden now for a couple of years is you know what you see is what you get. There's not a lot of there's not a lot else behind that. There's no hidden agenda. They just want to get good. They want to help Razorbacks win, and so the common thread is that. And then from there, I mean, they kind of they're just different type players. I think Hudson is maybe a tad bit quicker or agile at this point in time. Obviously, Hunter was a little larger. Those kind of offset each other. So I don't know. Beyond that, I don't really know a lot of the comparisons. I'll be able to answer that a little bit better this time next year.
When you look at a combination with Cheyenne O'Grady and Grayson Gunter bringing in Hudson, what kind of makes that eye-popping for you?
Well, I think we've got some experience there. That's important as far as with Grayson and CJ. They've both played in SEC games and both have contributed and caught footballs in SEC games, and we're looking forward to seeing what Chase Harrell can do. Chase is going to transition a little bit with me and kind of do a little bit of hybrid work with me this spring. We're looking forward to that. Hayden Johnson came on late last year and helped. So it's not just those two, but as far as ball catching, having two guys that have caught balls and run routes in our league and have made plays in games, boy, that's priceless. And so we're looking forward to building upon that.
So is Chase going to have to bulk up a little bit?
He was already pretty big. I mean, it's not going to be a dramatic change, and but yeah, I mean, obviously, I think he's trying to be intentional about adding a little bit of weight and being with us, but it hadn't been a significant deal for him.